Crushes. We've all had one before, and they're confusing, exciting, and sometimes downright embarrassing. But no show captures crushes better than Bob's Burgers in the episode Boys for Now. Today, we're diving into Louise's first crush and what it teaches us about handling these wild feelings. The episode begins with Tina watching a Boys for Now performance on the kitchen TV.
Hey, I was watching that.
Boys for Now is a boy band pop group closely resembling One Direction or even Boys to Men, and we find out that their Aunt Gail bought Tina and Louise tickets to see them. So Tina is very excited about going to their concert, as she has a crush on basically all of the boys in the band. But Louise then shuts the TV off in disgust, complaining about the fact that she has to go and sit through a boy band performance, and that she'd rather be screaming for roller coasters, axe murderers, or Bob's morning breath.
Hey, it's not that bad.
But little does Louise know this night will change everything. Let's start with the basics. A crush is that intense, sometimes overwhelming feeling of admiration or attraction to someone. It's common, normal, and let's be honest, a little chaotic. Your stomach might feel a little weird when that special somebody walks into the room. That's called the butterflies. And a lot of you know how to handle yourselves with crushes. But Louise, she's about to experience all of that, and it's hilarious. Tina and Louise are in the living room waiting for their Aunt Gail to show up. And Tina is just so excited because it's her first concert and she wants to experience it already. As for Louise, she says that maybe Aunt Gail realized that she's a 42-year-old woman and she shouldn't be into boy bands, which is pretty funny, but she's kinda right. Obsession is a crazy thing, but I think we'll dive into that a bit more later. Unfortunately, Tina and Louise get a call from Aunt Gail that
Aunt Gail Peppersbury was her cast because she thought he was an intruder trying to sexually assault her. She has to take him to the vet and we have to miss the concert.
And Louise is excited about that, sadly. I mean, again, she doesn't like boy bands or boys in general, according to her. So her and Tina are just stuck in the living room now, but Tina is in such a bad mood. She's sad and depressed, and is just groaning and moaning, just feeling really down in the dumps. This gets to Louise a bit, and so Louise, the great sister that she is, decides to help Tina get to that concert. So they hop on their bikes and start riding towards the concert. Louise says that the fastest way would be to merge on the freeway, and Tina's not really liking that idea. But then suddenly, Zeke pulls up in a car to the gas station in front of them, along with his cousin Leslie. Zeke says that they're going to the Boys for Now concert to sell bootleg t-shirts and hot dogs. So Louise gets a perfect idea and asks them for a ride.
Hey, I've got gas money. You got room for 2 more in that buggy?
You slip me a $5, I'll be your driver.
With a clever little rhyme, they happily decide. And in the car ride to the concert, Tina is telling Louise all about the band, saying Griffin is the hot one, Alan is shy and his fans are alcoholics, Matt is moody and older, like 17, but in reality, he looks like a 30-year-old man. And then there's Boo Boo, the youngest and best dancer. And honestly, Louise just doesn't want to hear any of this, and this is all very disgusting to her. And when they get to the concert, Louise is even more disgusted. She sees all the fans wearing merch, screaming for the boys, and even throwing up at just the thought of them. But all of this makes Tina lightheaded because she is just so excited to see them in person. So she asks Louise to go in with her. And although Louise is hesitant, she decides to go in with her sister, despite hating everything about this. The concert quickly starts with introducing all of the band, and there's these cool light shows with lasers and zip lines that just catch the attention of Louise. But then, at one moment, someone catches Louise's eyes.
Who let all these pretty girls in here?
When Louise sees Boo Boo, the youngest member of Boys for Now, her world flips. For the first time, she feels this fluttery chaos of a crush. And how does Louise, a tough, sarcastic 9-year-old, react? Well, her heart starts beating and she just starts screaming and can't even believe how she's feeling at first. You see, crushes can be confusing because they often come with a whirlwind of emotions that are hard to make sense of, especially at a young age. One moment you're filled with excitement and butterflies, and the next you might feel nervous, unsure, or even frustrated. Crushes can also make you see someone in an idolized way, blurring the line between admiration and reality. It's a mix of longing, curiosity, and sometimes self-doubt, all rolled into one, which can make it hard to know exactly what you're feeling or why. And so Louise runs off to the bathroom screaming that she does not like boys, but then accidentally kisses a lady's shirt with Boo Boo's face on it. And running back into the concert, Louise asks Tina to explain all of the boys in the band again. And Louise isn't interested in any other member except Boo Boo. So when Tina finally gets to him, Louise acts like this.
I could get into sports. What the hell else does he like? I want to give him things.
Whoa, Louise, you like Boo Boo.
What? No, Tina, that's okay, right? Like I like a boy. That's, you think he might like me? Oh my God, what's happening to me?
Louise is all rattled and doesn't know what's happening to her, but Tina just explains to her that all she's having is a crush. Louise then proceeds to say that Boo Boo's face is ew, gross. It's so gorgeous. Which is a weird thing to say about someone you like, but some people deny having crushes for various reasons, often tied to fear, embarrassment, or just very uncertain about their emotions. Admitting a crush can feel vulnerable as it means opening up about personal feelings that might not be reciprocated. Some worry about being teased or judged by others, especially if the crush seems unexpected or unconventional. Others may deny it because they're unsure of their own feelings, trying to convince themselves it's not real and to avoid dealing with the emotional complexity. In some cases, the intensity of a crush can feel overwhelming, so denying it becomes a way to protect themselves from rejection or heartache. But the funniest thing about this is the fact that Louise wants to slap Boo Boo.
You mean kiss?
No, I mean slap.
Whoa, you got a bad girl.
Louise's reaction is hilariously over the top, but it captures something many of us can relate to: the sheer unpredictability of a crush. One moment you're fine, and the next you're tripping over some thoughts and second guessing your feelings, and wondering why this one person suddenly seems so fascinating. Crushes can feel like they don't align with the image you've built of yourself. Like Louise, who prides herself on being tough and independent, suddenly grappling with emotions she might see as soft or uncool. This eternal conflict can be unsettling because a crush isn't always logical. It's not about who you think you should like or when it should happen. It's raw, unexpected, and completely out of your control. This unpredictability is part of what makes crushes both exciting and terrifying. They force us to confront parts of ourselves we may not have explored, making them a key and often confusing part of growing up. Louise's exaggerated reaction is funny, but it also speaks to the very real vulnerability and self-discovery that comes with navigating those fluttery feelings. So what do you do when a crush hits you out of nowhere? First, acknowledge it. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's all a part of being human. A crush is a natural emotional response, not something you need to hide or be ashamed of. Recognizing your feelings helps you understand them better, and that self-awareness is key to managing the whirlwind of emotions that often come with a crush. You might feel excitement, nervousness, or even frustration. It's all normal. Instead of pushing those emotions away, try to embrace them as a learning experience. Crushes are a way of exploring what you find interesting or attractive in someone else. They can teach you about yourself, your values, and what kind of connections you want in your life. Acknowledging a crush doesn't mean you have to act on it. It simply means giving yourself permission to feel without judgment. Remember, feelings are fleeting, and crushes don't define who you are. By taking a step back and acknowledging your emotions, you're giving yourself the space to handle them thoughtfully and with maturity, even when it feels like your heart has a mind of its own. So, of course, Louise doesn't just stop at feelings. She becomes obsessed with slapping Boo Boo. Why? Because she's grappling with emotions she doesn't understand. In this episode of Bob's Burgers, it's just a funny take on what happens when a crush takes over your brain. So that's why when the concert ends, Louise does whatever she can do to get backstage. Unfortunately, her Make-A-Wish kid with a cough trick did not work on the security guard. So feeling defeated, Tina and Louise leave the concert, and they meet back up with Zeke, who's selling room temperature hot dogs. They ask Zeke where his cousin Leslie is at, and Zeke tells them that Leslie is making a deal with the tour bus driver to buy an exotic animal. That gives Louise an idea, so they go to the tour bus, and while Zeke distracts the tour bus driver, Tina and Louise sneak onto the tour bus like the crazed maniac fans they are, and looking for a place to hide. What's the better place to hide than the boys' dirty laundry hamper? So they wait there for a while, and when the bus starts moving, the tour bus driver asks Boo Boo to sit on his booster seat, which is pretty embarrassing. But that's when Louise jumps out of the hamper, and before Louise can get to Boo Boo, she's stopped by the other members. And then Tina also jumps out and gets caught. Now they're about to get kicked off, but Boo Boo, being the mature adult he is, decides to hear what Louise has to say, and well...
Bold.
Worth it.
Now that was pretty funny, but here's the thing. It's easy to let a crush become all-consuming. That's where things can get unhealthy. Louise's obsession with Boo Boo spirals, but it's a comedic exaggeration of a real truth. Don't let your feelings control your actions. Listen, if you find yourself fixating on someone, take a step back, focus on other activities, spend time with friends and family, and remember, a crush is just one tiny part of your life. Unless you act on it, of course. Then it could be a whole spiral of things, but that's for another video. Later in the episode, Louise opens up to Tina. Tina. She's amazed that Tina has so many crushes and seems to handle them so easily. This moment highlights two very different approaches to crushes. Tina embraces them as a part of life, while Louise feels overwhelmed by just one. And that's okay. Everyone experiences and deals with crushes in their own way. Some people like Tina go with the flow, and others like Louise feel like they're drowning in emotion. The key is to find what works for you. Now, crushes feel huge in the moment, but they're just a phase. They'll pass and you'll look back and just laugh, just like we do with Louise. So what does the Bob's Burgers episode, Boys for Now, teach us about crushes? They're a natural part of growing up. They're confusing, and sometimes they make you want to slap a boy band member. But with a little perspective, you could handle them, and maybe even laugh about them later. And if you want your crush to notice you, click this video right here.